Yeah, no, we've got to get to, what is it, Monday at 10 a.m. We got to get to Wednesday at 7 p.m. in Manhattan, Kansas. And if we can do that, it'll be a hell of an accomplishment for these young men. And you look at what's going on throughout our state, and it's just, again, another testament to our guys, and knock on wood that people keep being safe and healthy.
Okay. Justin Guerrero.
Coach, you alluded to it last week, but when you're game planning for a team like South Dakota that doesn't have a lot of guys returning, a lot of JUCO additions, how does it kind of change the way you do game plan? Is it a little bit more rolling with the punches, just kind of you'll find out what you're going to get come game time, or just what kind of changes within your preparation due to that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we have changes. It's just a little different, Justin, than it is, at the end of the season or even the middle of the season when you've got, some game film and personnel. With South Dakota, they got 8 new players and one returning starter who's a good player, but it's that's why you have to rely on your principals defensively, because you don't know what you're going to run into offensively. Certainly, their coach has been there a couple of years, so we can go back in years past and see what they run. But they might come out in a totally different offense, totally different defenses. So you have to prepare for everything. You have to have defensive principles that you can rely on, and you really worry more about yourself, quite frankly, than you do your opponent. I mean, we certainly respect South Dakota, but we have to be concerned more with Colorado and what we're doing and how we're handling our business, if you will.
Over to Rod Mackey.
Coach, I know you look forward to all season openers, but with this one, after having last season cut short, the mystery surrounding this season, not knowing if you'd even play a game, I'm sure the emotions, if you guys actually tip this thing off, are going to be like they've never been before, I would assume, for you.
You're right, Rod, and it's not if, it's when. We plan on tipping off. I mean, I don't want to. I know that's awful tenuous right now, but yeah, you just look around college basketball, and there's 30 plus programs. I haven't counted them that are paused or going to be canceling their first game or two, and we don't want to be in that category. These kids have worked too hard. They've come too far. Again, most of our scholarship players have been on our campus since June the 7th. Now, they went home a little bit in August, had to do some quarantines when they came back. But you think about it, from June 7th to now, they've handled their business. They've worked hard. They have sacrificed socially. They've sacrificed, with their families, not being around them and not going home and seeing them when they would like to. Maybe, we usually, before we start practice in the fall, we usually give our guys the weekend off to, hey, go home, see your families one more time, because this season is going to be a long one. It's going to be a grind. We couldn't even do that. And, Christmas break comes, we're going to give them 3 days off, but I don't know if they're going to be able to go home and see their families, all of them. And so, you think about the sacrifices that these young men have made. And we're not the only ones. I mean, every student athlete on our campus has done the same thing for the most part. And I'm just really proud of our guys, and it'll be a special tip-off, more so this year, Rod, than others, for the reasons I just mentioned.
Pat Rooney's next.
Coach, kind of along those lines, the shutdown at Colorado State got me thinking and wondering, when you have those home games a little later on the schedule, if something does happen with one of your opponents, like we've seen in football, are you going to have any flexibility to say, just hypothetically, if Air Force is available the day of the Omaha game, can you scramble and get a substitute opponent if you need to when the time comes?
Pat, that's the $1 million question. We're certainly trying, and we want those contingency plans in place. And I think you have to stay nimble this year. I've had conversations with Jeff Linder at Wyoming. I talked to Nico, after I saw what happened with the Colorado State program. We'll be in constant contact between now and December the 8th. We're hopeful that game can still go on, but if not, you're right. Rodney Billups at DU, I know they're in a pause right now, but have had conversations obviously with him and Joe Scott at Air Force. So all the people along the Front Range, we have been in contact with, and we're certainly open to that scenario that you mentioned. If in fact we lose games, and we very well may. So we're going to stay nimble and try to get in as many games as we can.
Back to Justin.
Coach, just a kind of a general health related question for you. How are you guys on the whole, just on the health note, and especially with McKinley? I know we talked about him a couple times in the past few weeks, just kind of him gearing back to 100%. If you could maybe share his status.
Yeah, we're all good, Justin. I mean, everybody, we got all hands on deck as of now. You kind of start tapering down practices a little bit as you get closer to game day, but we'll still go hard in practice. And but yeah, everybody's healthy, everybody's good, no issues there. We've had some guys nicked up and missed some stuff here and there, but all hands are on deck. I'm not sure we're still in tip-top game shape. I think Maddox Daniels is probably the guy that's probably in the best shape, and Deshaun's right there with him, and McKinley's coming. Evans' conditioning has gotten better, so we'll have all hands on deck hopefully Wednesday.
Back to Pat Rooney.
Coach, just wondering, with so many guys and, the competition for the rotation that you spoke on a little bit last week, and we talked about the flexibility of being able to play guys this year, especially the young guys. Might Friday's rotation look different than Wednesday's, just to get a look at guys and not knowing maybe how some guys will respond on Wednesday?
Absolutely, Pat. Yeah, I mean, it's something we've talked about as a staff a lot. We'll continue to have those conversations. Practices mean something, and that's what I want our young players to understand. Like they're either gaining traction in practice or they're losing traction in practice relative to some of those rotational minutes that you're talking about, and those are difficult decisions that we're going to have to make this year. And I'm trying to be reasonable with our players and their expectation levels when it comes to those minutes, but I don't know what they're going to be, because I don't know what's going to happen Wednesday against South Dakota. I don't know if we're going to be down 10 or down 20 or up 10 or up 20, or if it's going to be a one possession game the whole way through. You just don't know. I mean, and so each game is a different game, and our guys are going to have to understand that they're probably not all going to get the minutes that they want, or maybe even sometimes deserve. It's because you can't play 13 guys. I can promise you that. We're going to have a rotation of probably 8 to 9, maybe 10. And some guys on the outside of that have to understand it. That's the way it is today, or it is that game, but the next game could be totally different.
Rod Mackey.
Ted, I want to get back to what you were talking about with the players, the fact that they've been there basically since June 7th. When you get with them today and you say, fellas, it's game week, what are the emotions like for them?
Well, they can feel it. They definitely feel it. They want it. Practice yesterday, Rod, you could tell it was one of those practices. Again, they're humans, they're kids, they're young, and you could just get a sense that they're just out there putting the time in. They're just out there. Let's get through this practice because it's a day closer to the game, and that's where young 18 to 22-year-old mindsets are. And again, I've been doing this for 26 years, so it's not new to me, but it made me pause and say, okay, blow the whistle. Hey guys, if we played K-State tonight, we would get beat the way we're practicing today. And we have to understand that, like, every day is a gift. And I think, we got a smart team. And one of the things I talk to them about is, look, there are teams in our state that aren't in the gym today. It's a gift to be here. And we have to understand that. We have to have that mindset coming in, because sometimes, it's practice number 27 and the game's 2 days away. They can't wait to get to the game, and they forget how important practice can be. So another learning opportunity for our guys. But yeah, it's they can taste it, they can smell it, they can see it.